Hello, everybody. Welcome to Planet FPL, the world where everything revolves around fantasy Premier League. My name's Serge.
My name is James.
James, let me introduce you as the
Piss
guest
off.
on this episode
Piss
today.
off.
I am joined by a true goat. And I mean that in the animals. Nah, joking. Glazing. Chill with the glazing, James. Listen, we're here after game week 20. What a game week it was, James. So much to cover off in this episode for those that are not on social media like Twitter and what have you, who won't have kept up with our team scores and all of the ongoings of the weekend. It has been a crazy, crazy weekend. I've got to give a big shout out to Adam from Above Average, because they obviously do a stream on a Sunday evening. And he and I scored exactly the same number of points, except that he took a hit. And so for him to go early in the game week has made me feel a lot better about myself. Like, I love you, man. Thank you for making me feel better about myself to go early first. But not just him. There's quite a few people that have had shockers. I tell you what this game week is, James. Have you? I'm sure you've been thinking about a title for this podcast. It's the good, it's the bad, and it's the downright ugly. And I'll tell you what's good has been your FPL game week. I'll tell you what's bad has been my FPL game week. And I'll tell you what's downright ugly, our actual problem for football teams, and particularly mine. So let's start with the good, shall we, before we get into the bad, and then eventually we're going to have to get to the ugly.
I got
200.
I've got a different. It's mental. I've got a different game week title for you, mate. Boom 101, mate. Because
what's
wow,
Boom 101?
Boom 101. You know, instead of Room 101 is Boom 101, mate.
Okay,
it's the bloody
took me a while to
score,
get that
isn't
one.
It? 101.
Yeah, I know what your points total was, but I think the points total is almost less relevant than the rank, in the sense that you could have scored 101 in any given game week and been like 50k or something in the game week. It's 101, and it's a very, very helpful rank rise of 101 because you were 200 in the whole game week, mate. No stress ball, sadly. Like,
no,
come on.
No.
Anyone at FPL Towers who we may know, send James a stress ball. Come on, blood.
I don't want to come across sounding like a prick, but I guess truthfully, this is the best game week I've ever had in FPL.
Must be.
Has to be.
Must be. I think what you and I don't necessarily do, I mean, I especially don't, is I don't really have a log or a history of which game weeks in which seasons have been monster. I feel like once our dead team or differential team did really well and had a game week rank that was inside the top 1,000.
10.
Yeah, which team was that? I have a very vague.
Like, we had like Jared Bowen triple captain.
Yeah.
But this is with no chips as well, obviously.
Yeah,
no hits
exactly.
Taken.
Monster.
Yeah, look, it's all fallen into place in one go. I brought Gabriel for Virgil van Dijk. I knew on Saturday night that was in for a pretty big game week jump on the Saturday after only the 4 games, because the threats to my rank really were Rodgers, Saka, Semenyo were the biggest ones. Obviously, Rodgers and Saka provided an assist. Saka obviously from the bench, but obviously having brought Gabriel's essentially matched those 3, and he's not massively owned at this moment, although that's going to change. And obviously, I did start Declan Rice. So I jumped from 273k to I think around about 130k on the Saturday. Watched Leeds Man United. Cunha scored. I was like, okay, and then was up to about 110k or something. Looked at half time of the Tottenham game, and I was, Harry Wilson scored. Thiago scored. This is turning into an absolute stormer.
Though Wilson was benched. But at that point, you knew that Ekitike wasn't in the squad, right?
Correct. Yeah. So I knew that I was going to have Harry Wilson playing. And then obviously final whistle goes at White Hart Lane, and I'm pretty grim face, as you can imagine, with the latest shit show I've seen. More on that in a little bit. And the first message I saw was from Sham, one of our patrons, 2 Guys, 1 Cup. And he'd sent me a WhatsApp message, and he's like, I know you probably don't care, you're at the football, but you need to look at what your current game week rank is. And it was like 45.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I was like, wow. So what's happened here? So I'm walking out the ground at White Hart Lane, walking through the South Stand, looking through the tweets of who's scored and who hasn't on FPL's site. And you let him through and it goal, 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 mental. Thiago hat-trick, Bruno Guimaraes goal, Malick Thiaw 17-point haul. And I knew I was getting Jurriën Timber's DEFCON because all the smart people had said, look, it's getting added. I'd had Bart for Bruggen's clean sheet on the Saturday against Burnley as well. So it was like, I'm going to get home here. I'm on near 100-ish already, and I've got Foden and Captain Haaland still to go. Them two pricks, I'm a bit disappointed with them.
Yeah, I mean,
because I was generally thinking, yeah, you kind of want to see a score and like, oh, if Haaland could even score here, I'm going to finish on the game with like 120 odd points or something. Mental.
Yeah, well done indeed. I think what I like about what has happened, there's a number of players there that you moved early on around the fringes. Because in the early stages, Thiago and Declan Rice have relatively okay ownership, especially within the community. But Malick Thiaw, you moved very early on. Harry
Can I just say, I've seen people take -4s this week to sell Declan Rice and Igor Thiago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Disgusting the way it's worked out.
Chow, you moved early on. Harry Wilson, you've been holding on to for quite some time and been playing. Bruno Guimaraes, you've been on for quite some time as well. You moved early on him with their good fixtures. Verbruggen, you've been calling as the wildcard keeper of choice for a while. So it's the perfect storm of your opinions coming together. And take it while you can, right? You need things to get game week ranks like that. You need everything to go and fall in your favour. But it's also the decisions that are made previously that put you in a position for things to fall in your favor. I would say for me, like the real main thing that I want people to use it for is to understand that it can happen, right? So wherever you are ranked right now, it can happen that you can have a stormer and rise up through the ranks. I had like earlier in the season, I had 6 or 7 game weeks in a row of green arrows, or it was like 6 out of 7 where I went from 2-point-something million to 300k. I've fallen back a little bit now. We'll talk about it in a minute, but it can happen. This is not like the difference between FPL and real football is like, I look at my current football team in terms of how bad West Ham are. It can't change one week to the next, right? We're not going to suddenly next week become world beaters. Whereas in FPL, in any given game week, you could have a 5 million game week rank, and then you can have a 200 game week rank within 2 consecutive weeks. So just keep plugging at it. There's a long way to go in the season, and look what James has been able to do. Just kind of trust your decision making process.
I saw someone say this. So forgive me, I can't remember. It was someone said this on Blue Sky. I think it's an important point. This like it's not a maverick team. No. So if you look like in the Content Creators League this week, it's not like I've scored 100 and all content creators do the same thing. Well, the next highest scorer in the Content Creator League, because I've asked for him to be added, is David Hunter. Because David was in the 80s. He's got a very similar team to me. He hasn't got Malick Thiaw. He already messaged me.
It's 1 or 2 players here or there.
I'm going to buy Malick Thiaw. Other than that, it was like some good scores in the 70s and stuff. But it's not like I've like got 8 differentials in there. Yeah, Malick Thiaw is the particular one. But everybody else in that squad has got steady kind of drips of ownership, right? I got a lot of players like 20, 30% EO, stuff like that. And it's just come together that all the ones that are sitting in my team have all done well in the same game week. It's miraculous.
That point, James, segue. Do you want to read out your team, and then I'll explain to you what that point means for me within what I'm thinking with my team and my head with FPL.
What, you want me to go through the players?
Did you just do it? I think you just kind of done it.
Kind of. So, all right. Verbruggen 7. Verbruggen 7. Timber 3. Gabriel 9. Chow 17. Guimaraes 10. Cunha 9. Rice 17. God, I feel like a prick reading this out. Foden 2. Wilson 6. Haaland captain blank. 4. Igor Thiago 17. I had Harry Wilson come into the team for Hugo Ekitike. My other players, Dubravka 1 point, O'Reilly 2, Alderete 1.
Yeah, I mean, to transition into my team, what you're saying about like high ownership / you called it not a maverick team. Let me use another word, boring. Let me use another word, template. It's not, I wouldn't describe it as boring or template, but I suppose the higher the ownership, the more template you get. I've been on tilt for probably a couple of weeks from when I made the 4 transfers in 1 week, and I made them early on the Sunday. And I've been a little bit, I don't know what the word is, but like meh with where my team is. And then I've had a game week where I've scored 41 points this week, which should have been 56, but we'll come on to that in a second. And I think the few players that I've tried to go with, like Jared Bowen, for example, has done nothing for me. I've ended up with like Lacroix. He's done nothing for me week on week.
Both of them.
Yeah, but that's not really going to move the needle, man, necessarily. And you think Crystal Palace defensively were the second best after Arsenal for such a big chunk of the season. And I've moved too slowly with what has been happening with trends. I've avoided Newcastle, that kind of thing. Little punts that I've wanted to make haven't worked for me. And I think what I want to do now is default to boring. Interestingly, I'll have a look in a second at how our dead team did. Like, our dead team's been beating you and me all season. Obviously not now with the week that you've had, but dead team got 51 and great. I think I want to default to a more boring playing style, because I think I know the phrase I would use with where I was with my team on Saturday morning. And it's probably something along the lines of heads gone. I don't know why. Like, I don't know why heads gone. And it's completely summarized by me putting Declan Rice third sub on my bench. Because that's not what I would do. Like, if you ask me in any normal circumstance, and you've played FPL with me for 9 seasons, I'd play him. And if he's going to play, he's going to play. And if he's not, he's going to not. And I don't know why. I honestly cannot explain to you why I put him third sub on my bench. And it was only until
you're not the only one who's benched him, mate. And
yeah, but there's a difference where you consciously bench someone and then you just do it because you don't even know what you're doing. So it was. I only remembered that I benched him when the Arsenal team had come out, and I was like, I've benched the prick, you know. And what happened Saturday morning was, I looked on Friday night for Van Dijk and Timber because that was the move I was going to make. No price rises incoming. I can leave it till Saturday morning. No worries, I'll leave it till Saturday morning. Left it till Saturday morning. I made that transfer. Then I put Timber into my team to just get it set up. Then I looked at Sanchez Dubravka, and I was like, do you know what? I'm going to play Dubravka over Sanchez because I don't see Chelsea keeping a clean sheet. Burnley might. Not unlikely, but Burnley have more chance of it. And in the end, it's 1 point versus 0. It actually was the right decision. Then, for some reason, I looked at Potts, Xhaka, and Rice, and I thought, well, Rice is flagged, so let me bench him. Completely put it out of my mind as a decision I'd made in 5 seconds. And then I remember debating Potts, Xhaka, or O'Reilly. Who should I play? Fuck it, I'll play the attacking players. And played Potts and Xhaka, and obviously thinking Potts might do something at Wolves, West Ham got a win, and whatever else. And that was it. And then never even revisited that thought that why have I put Declan Rice third on my bench?
I can't answer that for you. I'm not in your head, mate.
I don't know, but this is it where I'm like, head's gone in terms of decision making. I wasn't even thinking about it. I don't know why I did it.
I didn't not think about benching him. I did think about it quite a bit. I'd even done pieces on Friday where I said I'd need to really think about between Wilson, O'Reilly, Alderete, and I predicted Sunderland for a clean sheet yesterday and O'Reilly for a clean sheet, and I've now sold Van Dijk and Harry Wilson is in really good form. I was like, well, the options I've got here, I could probably put any of them in the team for Declan Rice. So I did think about it. And then I come to the conclusion with him, it's like he's like a glue player. I was saying this to people on like my deadline stream who were thinking of selling him. Oh, he's flagged, right? You know he was close on Tuesday. The word going around is that he's travelled to Bournemouth. You didn't put Declan Rice in your team for, Arsenal's run of 2 or 3 games. You put him in because you went, that's a long term. I'm tired of this. He's now a great asset. It's not, we need to get over this. Oh, he's a central midfield player. Like, the game is different, not just in terms of FPL, but what we're watching in the Premier League is different to what we've experienced in other years. You didn't put Declan Rice in to go, that's for 2-3 weeks. So it's like, please don't sell him. At least you didn't do that.
Yeah, at least I didn't do that. So look, again, I scored 41 points. It's dropped my rank to just about 900k. Not great at all. But at the end of the day, what are you going to do? Quit the game? I'm not about to do that, right? You just do. you pick yourself up and you go. Listen, I don't know if David Hunter's got enough time to do the Game Week pod and the Weekender every week, so let's leave it. I'm here. I'm gonna work my way back up. I still want to finish the season inside the top 100k. Like a 5-figure rank is what I want to get. I've never had it, never finished in it. Gonna do it this season. It's more than doable, man. I'm not like losing sleep over it, so not worried. But I do think strategically, I need to shake it off. It's probably good that it's the wake up call that makes me get focused, and I know what I want my strategy to be. Sorry, listeners, it's going to be boring. I'm going to try and default to just like simple picks. Not going to go and try and chase stuff that I think there might be big upside.
Okay. It's a regular question I get, isn't it? Oh, I'm 1.5 million or whatever. What do I need to do differently?
Keep it simple.
Probably the same thing as a lot of what other people are doing, rather than looking for the different all the time.
Yeah. And like it's successful for you to not have Tottenham players in your FPL team. Not that you wouldn't go and buy them. I'm binning off Bowen and Potts as soon as I can, because that's a nightmare in itself. My returns this week, just to cover it off, Cunha and Gabriel, like you, I had Defcon Central here in Lacroix, Timber, Xhaka and Bowen. Apart from that, nothing from the rest. I had Alderete come in for Ekatike, Nico O'Reilly on the bench. Obviously, Declan Rice is 17 points, third on the bench. I'm going to claw it back, going to finish top 100k. Let's keep it moving. Any thoughts on your transfers? We've got a quick turnaround here, and then we've got FA Cup. So for me personally, as much as I want to bomb people out, I think having the time and space is going to be beneficial for me rather than to rush into anything. So my preference here is genuinely to just roll, let it be what it'll be in game week 21, and then assess on the other side with 2 free transfers.
Yeah, it'll be similar for me. I can't see anything happening in the team news that's going to push me into a transfer. I'd almost rather use the bench. So for me, I wasn't planning to play Ekatike this week anyway. It's Burnley at home the week after. He'll sit third on the bench, and I'll be okay with that decision as they go to Arsenal this game week. I've obviously got the squad depth, which is a blessing for me with the way I've set up. So there's a lot of information to learn this week. You've got the final game week of this festive period. I would suggest, by the way, guys, there probably will be little bits of rotation this midweek. Then you've got FA Cup at the weekend. You've got the Carabao Cup semi-final first legs next week. You've got a transfer window open. You've got players returning from AFCON. There is a lot of information that will change between game week 21 and game week 22, where people can roll. Those who've got like free transfers, stuff a little bit different. But I think you just on one at the moment.
Yeah, 1.
Yeah, same. Like we probably need to roll here, really, I think.
Yep. I've got 2 flags in Sanchez and Ekatike. I'll just, if I have to, play Dubravka, and it's Manchester United at home, I'll play Dubravka and Alderete or Potts with Nottingham Forest at home, or Lacroix I had benched with Villa at home with the form that they're in. Just play one of them, whatever. If it picks me up 3-4 points, take it and have the flexibility in the next game week, not chase
Obviously,
anything.
Because of the score I've had as well, a lot of my players are now getting chased after. We know just natural in terms of, he did the points.
Chow and stuff, yeah.
3 17-pointers in 1 week is
insane.
Mental. I mean, that has matched like the top 10k average. Those 3 players. Scandalous.
Yeah.
Each jumped me from 273k to 31k.
Yep.
90% rank increase. Like, it's impossible. But I want people, like what you said, to take a bit of inspiration from that. Our teams aren't that wildly different. There was 60 point difference between us, right? So when people are going, I'm 100 points behind in my mini league and stuff like that, I get it. It looks like a long way. But if it falls into place for you in 1 week, those 3 players is a 51 points. Right, it can fall into place at the right time. It's just extremely lucky that it's happened for me. But like I think you're 93 points behind me now.
Yep.
Right, you can pull that round. Especially if I do dumb shit like do a -56 on my team and shit like that. Right?
Also, let's not forget, we've all got a full set of chips that have just been refreshed as well.
Please don't use them. Please don't use them. Please don't
No,
use them.
yes, but you have them to be able to claw back on any mini leagues and so on. James, what's the content for this week? And then we're going to have to talk about the games.
Just to add on that, the intention is to do a podcast on chip strategy, probably now next Thursday on the 15th, following the Carabao semi. So we've got as much information going into game week 22, and we'll look through the rest of the season in terms of chip opportunities and stuff. But I'm getting a lot of questions on wildcards. Where possible, guys, I would strongly advise against it at this moment. Obviously, if your team is a hellfire, go for it. But if I haven't got this plan, please just leave it at the moment. Honestly, you'd be better off taking a -8 at this stage. Although I wouldn't advise that for a midweek set of fixtures. Content this week, so game review pod now and on Friday. Clash of Correspondence will have our early for you tomorrow. Tuesday is Brentford versus Sunderland with Tom Med and Spencer Barrowman. What else have we got this week? So what's happening on Wednesday? What am I doing? Oh, fan view with Gary Mantle on Chelsea, following obviously Enzo Maresca's departure. That show with Nico on Thursday as well. There's a deadline stream for those on YouTube tomorrow night. I have a special guest with me because I'm on daddy duty at the same time. You can support the show at www.patreon.com/Planet FPL. Plenty going on now. Podcasts this week include Q&A today, game week preview tomorrow. We've got Tottenham on Thursday after what will be probably Tottenham and West Ham's latest disaster this week. Got a quiz on Wednesday with one of our patrons, Rudders, and Friday, Ask James for the patrons on Friday. That particular podcast and stream will be available from basic, plus tier and above. There's plenty more at advanced tier as well, including Team News stream. Tomorrow, there's away days from Brentford going out today and from Bournemouth on Thursday, midweek dilemma on Wednesday, and Nico's Corner returns on Friday.
Cool. Lovely jubbly. As James said, Patreon is where you get the additional content. You also get access to our Slack community. You get access to James's fixture planning spreadsheet. You get access to some prize leagues and a whole bunch of other stuff. Why not support the show over there if you want to? Should we talk about the games, James?
I suppose so.
Alrighty. Aston Villa 3, Nottingham Forest 1. Very comfy win for Aston Villa. I did think when I was watching the first half of this, is this one of those games where a team completely dominates and then doesn't score and then shoots themselves in the foot and concedes a goal or gets a draw at the other end just because they couldn't finish or turn that domination into actual goals, which you so often see. But once they scored at the end of the first half, and it was going to be pretty plain sailing, I did think, for Aston Villa. And then it ended up that way in the end as well. A nice comfy home win, which I think they'll be glad for, because after losing to Arsenal, to just get back on winning track was
almost
was
like
really
it didn't
good.
happen in a
exactly. They're still in and amongst it at the top of the table. Good home win, comfy, and of course, like from my club's point of view, I needed Nottingham Forest to get beaten. So yeah, glad to see Villa do it. And points spread around. Watkins on the score sheet again. Rodgers with the assist. Matty Cash has been ticking along nicely. I don't know where I'd go. I think I want to get to Morgan Rodgers, just not yet.
Yeah, Rodgers will be a popular one for people moving around. I think entry points was probably more the week just gone. And then again, either 22 or 24. So I won't be chasing that this week personally, but he might be an option for me in 22 or 24. That's the only Villa asset I'd be looking at. I'm not going to go and chase John McGinn's points. Nice goals from his perspective. Although the second one, massive win. To be honest, both of them helped. Forrest get turned over on his first goal, and Villa do well from there. And then keeper's had a mare, isn't he? Bless him.
Yep. And then he's got off injured and stuff.
So that 4 million. Till I saw him crying.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't want to be skeptical, but sometimes you play up for the fans a little bit when they're going off injured with the whole emotional side of it. But maybe he has it himself. Not
it's
great.
Probably a combination of big mistake plus injury I mean, I'd put on our Slack on the Matchday Live channel when it happened. I said Sells will be back in goal Tuesday, and that was reverted quite quickly to Sells will be in goal today. So
Yeah.
if you're one of those who's stuck on Matt Sells, you probably play him this week away to West Ham in most scenarios. I think subject to what other keep you've got. Many of that will be paired with probably Dubravka. I know there's a few people in that just play Dubravka for a little bit. But I think between the two,
I play Sells over Dubravka this week all day long.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Agree with that. So
anything else on Forest?
No interest in Forest at the moment,
No.
despite the fact they're playing your team this week. Their better fixtures coming up are away from home until they play Wolves in Gameweek 26, and away from home they're not great. They feel like they're going to be reliant quite a bit on their home form. They were so passive in that first half. I mean, I didn't watch the game thinking, well, they might land a low block them and shit out their way to a 0-0. This is a matter of time. It's too much. No pressure on the ball or anything. Almost waiting to get beat. It felt like they weren't good, Nottingham Forest, and I would have awareness of that as well, because if Forest lose tomorrow night, I know there's a lot of talk about Nuno, which we'll get to, but if Forest lose tomorrow night, don't be surprised if Marinakis pulls the trigger as well. We just know it historically. Marinakis won't have watched that game on Saturday and gone, oh, it's Villa away. This is okay. He wouldn't have, because they're too passive. He's not an idiot. You know, right, it's Villa away. It's a tough game. Might get beat, but show something.
Yep.
At 2, the game had got to 2-0. I'm like, I've done nothing here. And when Gibbs White scored, beautiful finish and a really well worked goal, actually. It was a major shock. If you'd have had Villa defensive in this, you'd have been counting your clean sheet points, I think.
Yeah.
And I would have understood that. So from these two teams, I definitely wouldn't go near Forest, because something might change. So things that might have, Milenkovic, Defcons and stuff like this might have began to appeal. I wouldn't be going near that, because you might have a different manager, and it could be a yo-yo to another more offensive manager, possibly. He may well, if Forest lose at West Ham, he may well pull the trigger, I think. For Villa,
if Forest win at West Ham, I think Sullivan may pull the trigger.
It's only Rodgers, but what I would say is they have good long-term fixtures. And I don't hate the idea of Matty Cash. However, I wouldn't be looking at any Villa defender thinking, I'm going to start this on a regular. Because don't hit Defcons. Matty Cash chips in with a few attacking returns, but not many in terms of goals actually scored. And we've spoken about these type of players all season long. They're probably just not worth it. He's got 5 attacking returns this year, Matty Cash. It's not bad. 3 goals scored. Another assist at the weekend. He's 4.8. I don't know if I would want to be playing that. But they do run nicely to when I would probably want to use the second wild card.
Brighton 2, Burnley 0. Thank God Burnley lost as well at the weekend. My weekend was great, mate.
As long as there's one piece of claret and blue that's just a bit shitter than me, yeah? Is that where we're at?
Yeah, exactly that. But look, no big chances. They didn't barely rack up any XG off the 5 shots they had. Pretty comfy win for Brighton in the end with the 15 shots, 2 big chances. Another clean sheet for Bart Verbruggen. I did think, like, he's still at 4.5. If I was to hear that Sanchez is going to be out longer than just missing the Manchester City game, what would I do? And he would probably go at 4.5, but he hasn't kept that many clean sheets. I think it's blinded with that 11-pointer a couple of weeks ago. I think it's only 3 in the last 9 games or 10 games or something like that. So I don't know if I'm maybe a little bit blinded with the Bart Verbruggen points, but good win for Brighton. Any assets there that are piquing your interest at the moment?
Long term as well doesn't look so good for Brighton now. Like, I've got them 18th on my ticker over the next 10 game weeks.
Right.
Although that will look better after the Manchester City fixture is gone. But there's things like Burnley at home and stuff like that you are looking at thinking,
target that fixture,
points, of course. So
yeah.
I certainly wouldn't be chasing after Brighton this week. That would make no sense. If you wanted to downgrade Raya to Verbruggen to get yourself Gabriel or something, then obviously I understand that sort of move. Yeah, you're not chasing after them at this moment. For Burnley, I feel like frustration is probably ticking over for their fans now. Same shit from Scott Parker every week. And actually this week he's come out and said, yeah, toilet, deserve nothing. It's a bit worrying, that, I think. They just don't look capable of winning enough football matches. I think they're 11 without a win now or so. And you wouldn't look at them and think, oh, I see wins on the agenda here. There might be one in game week 23 for them if they're lucky, and maybe game week 25. But even if win those 2 games, you can't see them catching up to Forest and above.
The only saving grace for them, similar to for West Ham, is like Forest haven't won, so the gap hasn't gotten any bigger. But when they're going to turn this around, don't know. I don't see it.
Oh, they're capable of catching you, and I don't think they're capable of catching.
No, but they need to catch 2 teams. Yeah, I don't see it, but I don't even see them capable of catching us because we're going to spend money in this transfer window now. We shouldn't, but we will. I just don't see it. It's disappointing. Not needing anything from an FPL point of view, but I think I'm going to play Dubravka this week if I hear that Sanchez.
I think I am as well because I'll just gamble it. We'll talk about United in a bit, but I'll just gamble on the narrative of Manchester United being shit and going to Burnley and losing 1-0. That feels more likely than Brighton going to Manchester City and winning 1-0. So, yeah, if you're for Bruggen and Dubravka, and obviously it's my 2 keepers, yeah, I've played Dubravka of the 2. Yeah, I wouldn't be looking at anything else from Burnley. Even if you're looking at Breuer as like a cheap third forward, that's going to get rotated with Zian Fleming and stuff. He's pissing about with the wingers quite a bit. Marcus Edwards has had a run. That will probably change again. They've fallen out with, I say they, it looks like Scott Parker's fallen out with Kolinci Hartman. He was linked to a move to Ajax, and then he's been out the squad for the last few. Hartman had put a statement on Instagram last week saying like that, I give my best while I'm here and stuff like that. I'm very happy to play for the club, but something's definitely happened now. Estev's been a miss. He may be back for this midweek. Probably the headline one here for people is Minter owners. Obviously not appeared. Yeah, that's a move on now, guys.
Yeah.
He's just not done it.
I just had someone in a WhatsApp group say Amorim had gone. And I don't know if he means to say
I wouldn't be surprised, by the way.
I've checked online and I don't see anything. So I don't know where that's come from. I was just checking that, James, and I see nothing. So
yeah, here we go. David Ornstein. Manchester United sack Ruben Amorim as head coach. 40-year-old Portuguese informed the decision and goes with immediate effects after 14 months following breakdown in relations. Darren Fletcher expected to take over on an interim basis.
Okay, so it is true. Thank you, Stewie Brown, for letting me know. Breaking news. We'll talk about Manchester United when we get to them, shall we? But yes, live on the show. Definitely playing Dubravka now. Or maybe not. Any chance?
No, that makes it less attractive in a way.
What price Darren Fletcher's twins in FPL? Because if he's manager, you're going to fucking play both of them. Nepotism is coming in. Should we keep it moving? Next game?
I'm not surprised. I said to you before we started, something's happening here with Amorim. So
I mean, his post-match, it's interesting. Maresca and Amorim within a couple of weeks of each other with this breakdown of relationship between
it probably means that with Chelsea and Manchester United suddenly looking for a manager, that my team probably
bottom of the pecking list. You still got a manager.
Probably should wait.
You still got a manager. Listen, I would take either of those 2 passes right now.
Listen, Wolves, I wouldn't rule out if my team takes a tanking on Wednesday. I wouldn't rule out you finishing the season with Thomas Frank, mate. I'm not joking.
I think we'd end up going to something more tried and trusted like Sam Allardyce. The merry-go-round is crazy right now. Wolves 3, West Ham 0. You watch this? Or I know you piped up a little bit in the old.
Truthfully, I watched Villa Forest and the wife had my boy out at a birthday party and I thought I'll take advantage of this. I'll have a bit of a trim, a bit of a shave and stuff. As the game's kicked off and I looked at my phone at like 3:40 and the third Wolves goal went in. I was like, wow. This was one of the biggest ever, the board that they hold up, the guy holds up in the crowd. Our expectations were low, but holy fuck. That was West Ham this weekend, man. Oh my God.
Disaster. There's so many words, but pathetic. Pathetic was the word that I felt at halftime. Just because lack of fight, lack of energy. I think it was the first goal went in very early, right? And okay, we've made a mistake there. And I thought if there's anything that I would have been happy for Wolves to do, it was score in the first 5 minutes because at least we've got 85 minutes to turn it around. as opposed to them scoring in the 85th minute when we're like, all right, 5 minutes, now the fight is on. But it was very clear after 20 minutes that they wanted it more. They just wanted it more. They were up for it. It's probably one of the worst times that we could play Wolves. And like you said previously, they will target this fixture as one that they can definitely win. So they clearly had and were clearly up for it. So that's what we got, the perfect storm. Then the second goal was deserved. You couldn't say that they didn't deserve to go 2 up. Hideous mistake by, I'd say, Kilman, because I don't think he knew if he was kneeing it, heading it, kicking it. He just kind of let it hit him. And it's Magassa that gives away the penalty, but it was because Kilman fucked up. And at that point, you're done. Okay, then the third goal goes in, and this pathetic closing down. And that was it. At 70 minutes, I'd planned to go to the shops, James, with my wife, because I needed to pick up a few bits after the game. I said, we'll head down to the shops. And at 70 minutes, guess where we went? To the shops. The alert came up at the end of the game that it finished 3-0, and I was not surprised in the slightest that we didn't even have the fight to try and claw back a late consolation or anything.
No
from the first 45, I thought, okay, half time, let's see if they can change it. For the first 10, 15 minutes in the second half, not great. Unfortunately for Wolves, I still think there's highly likely that they will still get relegated because they've left themselves such a mountain to climb. Sherlock. But no, because when you have a win like that, you're like, okay, is it going to change? Is there hope yet? I think you've got to take into the fact that you've just beat West Ham.
I wouldn't be that shocked if they didn't finish bottom.
Yeah, I think they could catch Burnley or West Ham, but I don't think they'll be able to get out of it. Too much. All I'm saying is I'm not about to say that they're going to turn it around or steam into any of their assets unless you're talking about bench fodder here, like Mateusz Mane or any of these kind of guys. He's cheap as chips at 4.5. He looked really good. We've called him on the pod previously as one to keep an eye on. Great. But there's still nothing else really at Wolves that I would be chasing other than him, really. If you've got any West Ham, be done with it. Even you Jared Bowens and stuff, be done with it.
No, if you've got any West Ham, you hold it for this game, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I should say. Like, I'm so glad this game week is so close because I don't have to hold it for that fucking long. I'm like, fuck, it's only Tuesday, thank God, because after Tuesday I can bomb this shit. But then
who would you have on mind? Is it back to Thiago?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, but then in game week 22, you play my team and Thiago goes to Chelsea.
Don't care.
No, you keep going. So this is listen to James. Is where you said you're on tilt, right? That's not right. That's not right to go Bowen to Thiago in 22. You sit, mate. That you said it yourself, tilt and stuff like that. That's a tilt move, mate. That's not the right move.
Talk to me after game week.
I hear you, but it will be better off waiting if that's the sort of thing. If the week after you're like, right, Brentford are at home to Forest, 23. Okay, now I want to attack it. All right, fine. It's worth noting their fixtures afterwards: Brentford, Villa away, Newcastle away, Arsenal at home. All right, find an alternative, mate.
Yeah, it might not be Thiago. He's probably just like flavour of the month right now. But yeah, genuinely, I wouldn't be touching any West Ham. I wouldn't be touching any Wolves. It is looking as grim can be. Is it Jacob Steinberg in The Guardian reporting yesterday that the squad's gone? They don't trust Nuno. He's not really communicating with them, all of that kind of stuff. And based on his body language at the side of the pitch, based on the way that the team came out in the second half and his like energizing of them, it reads true. So he's another bad result, i.e. tomorrow night. We're the only game tomorrow, so all eyes on that game. He could be gone as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is frustrating because obviously we've suddenly, for once, we're like, West Ham are making moves in the transfer window early with the signing of Pablo and Tati Castellanos or whatever, and a couple of others that are close to getting over the line. And you're like, well, talk is that these are Nuno signings, but he could be gone in a week or two. Or they're just going to suck it up and Pray to Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Get us out of it.
Yeah.
Bad times. Bad times.
Paquetá was a miss, Suj. I know you felt like he's been a liability for you, but that's a miss against an opponent like this. Look at that pass he plays to Bowen against Brighton, right?
You cannot say that no shots on target and no Paquetá is unrelated. Like, his creativity would have at least kind of got someone in a position where they would have been able to have a shot on target, you'd hope.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I will accept that. I still think, like, other players need to take responsibility, and he's not the long-term answer for us. But, yeah.
Yeah, the only asset that anybody should be considering from these two teams in terms of new investment at this moment in time, although West Ham might be worth monitoring if there's a different manager in play, and particularly someone like Bowen. And I don't think Bowen owners should sell, but the only one you would consider investing in new this week is Mane. And that's if you're doing something with your structure. There's a lot more talk about going like Haaland, Krupi and Mane. I hate that, by the way, because it just takes... Oh,
is he a forward, mate?
Yeah.
Oh, frustrating. I thought he was a midfielder.
No, he's forward. Then and he's fine as a pickup.
I mean, I'd pick him over Gooey or any of that.
I think the structures of that are so dangerous. It's one thing to then go, oh, I want to go back to Thiago. But if it further down the line becomes like, oh, I want to get to like Watkins, who's showing a bit of form now, like that's such a long way to do that sort of thing. If you then want to do it, you're looking at like a Saka or a Palmer down to like a 4.5 mid to force it up. I don't like. I know a lot of people doing it. I know some of the analytics stuff would look at the moment and go, yep, one up front. I wouldn't advise it. If you want him as your third forward, I don't mind. Personally, I would still prefer to go for Krupi because I just think it's a ceiling of what that could be. If Evan Nilsson got injured, you might have an asset there. You like, oh, I want to play every week. But yeah, he's a really good talent. I said this weeks ago when we lost at Forest. I said Tottenham are the worst team in FPL at this moment because there's a player that's interesting at Wolves, and I think that's absolutely correct. He also unfortunately won't play West Ham every week, but he will keep playing. Yeah, and I said that this would happen because he gives the people there who have had a really depressing season, gives them a little bit of like hope and promise and something to, let's go and see this young teenage boy who we've got. Let's go and see him. So I think he'll keep playing. By the way, he's not playing as a forward, if anyone thinks he is.
Wide forward.
I wouldn't even really say that, to be honest. So almost look at that at the moment and go, it's kind of Hwang leftish forward with Tolu, who's going to stay in the team at the moment. He might even be one to keep an eye on as a third forward as the season progresses. They didn't bring Andre back into the team, right? So it was João Gomez and who played to the right? Arias, who scored the first goal. Yeah. Sorry, John Arias. Mane and Arias played kind of just either side of João Gomez. So great result. I'm pleased for. I'm not digging you out, so I'm pleased for Wolves that they've won.
Yeah, like I've got no animosity with Wolves or anything like that. I just think that we're bad right now. We've got Tottenham later in the week where my current stance is that I'll be watching no more West Ham games this season. I will watch tomorrow night. If we lose tomorrow night, I'll be watching no more West Ham games for the rest of the season because then we're truly, truly gone.
Yeah, I would watch the one afterwards at least, Suj.
Is it you next, the 17th?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not watching that. I'm not watching that. I'm washing my hair. I'm busy. Busy.
Move on.
Bournemouth 2. Arsenal 3. James. Declan Rice show. When he scored his second goal, I wanted to just be a smug twat. I told you 100 million was too cheap for him when we sold him. And I'm getting the same back from my friends who are Arsenal fans.
You couldn't be a smug twat because you sit third on your bench.
Listen, we have a running joke in my family that Declan Rice is my third son. He's an adopted member of our family. And when your boy does well, it's all good. I'm not one of these West Ham fans that boos him. I've got all the time in the world for that guy because he's just such a nice, good human being. I'm going to enjoy it every step along the way. I've had it from the likes of Clayton and as well. And they've said, I know when we bought him and you said he was better than we think he's going to be. And he has kicked on. playing in a better team. Like, that boy has got it all. We've talked about him being the first name on the team sheet for England quite often, and I'm like, yeah, we do have options, but he's a beast. And Arsenal, good away win. They didn't make it easy for themselves, but a good away win in the end. Uncharacteristic mistake from Gabriel for Evanilson's goal, and could have given away a penalty.
I've watched it back 20, 30 times. I can't work out what he's doing. I don't know if the ball slightly deflects off his right foot as he kicks it with his left. You know, like when people take a penalty, slip. Kind of like
it could have been.
He looks like that slightly happens, but he's playing it with too much pace towards Raya, and obviously with no height if he's trying to like chip it over Evanilson towards Saliba. I don't know if he did even think Evanilson was Saliba. Just saw something in his periphery and he's passed it straight to him, isn't he? Bizarre.
Yeah, I don't know. Mistakes happen. Look, a player of his quality.
And also, I mean, for those who are already on Gabriel, what a touch, really, to wipe out the Arsenal clean sheet and then go up the other end and score. That's the perfect solution, isn't it? It kills the kind of the Raya owners, etc. around it. So from a fancy perspective, brilliant assist, goal and assist, technically, from Gabriel. I thought Arsenal was sloppy. I didn't think they played particularly well. It doesn't matter. This was a challenging away game. One of the biggest challenges they had left, I think, on the road because of the intensity that Bournemouth bring. They do make the game really, really awkward at the Vitality. Yeah, Arsenal was sloppy. I think that needs to be said. But I also didn't watch the game thinking they won't win it.
Yep.
Which is superior quality. I also think it's worth mentioning about Odegaard at the moment. Because Eze over the last, I want to say 4 games, hasn't played a minute, I think. And that's down to Odegaard. I hear so many times over, not at the moment, it's worth saying, I hear so many frustrations from Arsenal fans about Martin Odegaard, and for the life of me, I can never understand it.
I think more recently, less so, James.
Yeah, he's recently come back from injury and stuff, and he's playing
been
quite
good.
well. His ability to understand tactical instructions, you know, like how Pep always wants to use Bernardo Silva.
Yep.
Odegaard's not the same player, but Arteta can give Odegaard such specific instructions in terms of whether you want to move into the right-hand channel, move into half spaces towards the left, take a man out of position, and also he's one of the best pressers in the league. A brilliant player who I think has got a ceiling to go to and improve to this season. Big result for Arsenal. Must do better. I think Raya probably a bit disappointed on Krupi's goal as well. I think I've got the best three, which is Timber, Gabriel, and Rice.
Me too. Snap.
It's not that I don't think Bukayo Saka is better than any one of them assets. He obviously is, but there's a valuation connotation to that needs to be considered. And I think my personal view, and I know a lot of people looking at Palmer at the moment, I know Haaland's had a few blanks and stuff. My personal view is at this moment, he doesn't need Palmer or Saka to be forced in there. And what you can do, it's obvious. You move Saka to Rice. What you can do with a 3-odd million in the bank is change something very important in your team, potentially. Bukayo Saka will probably do very well. I think they'll muller Liverpool on Thursday, by the way. And I would say Saka is the best alternative captaincy option to Haaland this week. But generally speaking, I don't think that he's worth that money.
Yep, agreed.
And I do want double Arsenal defence, and I think Timber and Gabriel are the best of it. What do you do if you haven't got Gabriel?
Just get it done. Just get it done.
He's feeling like that, isn't it?
Just get it done. Yeah. It was like that earlier in the season. We all kind of moved away with his injury. Just get it done. There
was a number of people who mentioned the statistic prior to the weekend. It was FPL Karim, I want to say, was the first I saw mention it, that in the top 5 leagues in Europe, the top 3 teams for goals conceded from set pieces were Bournemouth, who Arsenal have just played, Liverpool, who Arsenal play next, and Nottingham Forest, who Arsenal play after.
Oh, just get it done. Get it done. Get it done. Yeah. Beast of a player. Anything from Bournemouth other than Krupi Jr.?
No.
I see a few people find it Tavernier as an easy option to fill a gap if someone's got it.
I would say there's a chance that he starts on Wednesday night against my team. That has to be a possibility just in terms of turnaround of matches and stuff. Though he could easily start at Newcastle in the FA Cup at the weekend. for most people who've got Senesi and stuff, he's probably play it this week. For most people, it depends what other alternatives you've got, but don't be frightened to play it. Because although Bournemouth are what, 11 without a win?
11.
Yeah. Dr. Tottenham will see you now. And if Bournemouth can find the intensity that they showed in this game, they'll beat us without any form of a problem whatsoever.
How many do they have to go without a win before Iraola is at risk?
None.
There isn't that number, James, because eventually, well, I guess they're blessed that Forest and West Ham and Burnley are so bad that there's no hope of us catching them. Yeah. But in any normal circumstance,
but the difference is, if you're a Bournemouth fan, you walk away from that at a weekend, you go, good effort today. Do you know what I mean? You're not afterwards going, oh, it's 11. I know you're playing Arsenal. But Bournemouth fans will not have that feeling about Andoni Iraola. It might get to a point in March time where they're not going to go down, by the way, where they look safe and they know that he's going to go at the end of the season and they take a different direction. They go, right, we think we need to start thinking about the future. That's a possibility if, say, they're out the cup, no chance of qualifying for Europe, etc. But no, Bournemouth won't change. For Semenyo owners, by the way, because there will be some still there, time of recording, we think he's going to play. That's also arguably the best another great captaincy alternative this weekend. Not that I think anyone's going to take Haaland on this week, despite some recent blanks. But yeah, if you are still sitting on Semenyo, you hold that and it will be what it will be. The only thing could be, make sure you get your bench order sorted out, because it could be Wednesday morning, right, it's agreed with City, he's travelling up north, right? You that's a possibility. But if you've still got at the moment play, similar with Senesi, Petrovic, if people are still down now, it's really frustrating. Again, subject to your rotation, it looks all right this week. My team can go there and beat them, but it'll only beat them on set plays.
Okay.
It'll be low block, defend like shit, bore you to tears, and we might do them on set pieces because there is a weakness there, clearly, of which the goalkeeper is a part of.
Leeds 1, Manchester United 1. Big build up to this game, and it obviously means a lot to both sides. I think they'll Manchester United clearly not happy with just coming away with 1 point because they've got rid of their manager. Although that might be a build up of things rather than one fixture. Yeah, exactly. But not too shabby. If anything, other than Matheus Cunha, when I was looking at these two sides, I was like, I'd be more interested in Leeds players than I would be in adding any Manchester United players. And I know price point has an impact of that, but Leeds' fixtures now aren't great. Newcastle away, Fulham, Everton, Arsenal. The next 4 are tricky fixtures because Fulham are difficult on any given day, and Everton, Newcastle away, 2 difficult places to go. So I don't feel like Leeds is the time to buy anybody right now necessarily, unless it really fixes a problem for you. Who knows what will happen with Manchester United now? So again, in no buy territory, unless of course you're really fixing a problem or have faith in something. Where's your head at with Matheus Cunha now? Keep him for Burnley, and then you're going to be moving him on?
Yeah, possibly. Rodgers maybe in 22, but not this week. No, not at all. Yeah. To be honest, I'll probably have Cunha vice captain. There's no reason to think he doesn't play. Amorim had said yesterday that he was hoping that he'd have Fernandes and Mount back for the game at Burnley. Excuse me. So team lineup wise, they may look stronger on Wednesday night. It does feel a bit odd to me, or Fernandes might be back for Burnley, but you didn't want to risk him at Leeds on a Sunday. But we've seen this a few times with Amorim. Not that matters now. And we should have a consciousness with this with Manchester United that everything could change here, right? This could very quickly become 4-2-3-1. Cunha left, Fernandes 10, Bumo right. Got Amad Diallo.
Seshko or something up top.
Yeah, I mean, could it even be what you're doing with Diallo there? Suddenly, you would assume they're going to appoint a back 4 manager, wouldn't you? It's not like they've moved far enough away.
Assume nothing in this world, James, but yeah, no. Or at least a manager that could be flexible.
I would be, like, if they went, right, let's call Oliver Glasner, I would be very, very surprised at this stage, actually. So no, I think they'll go after a back 4 manager. Also, that might not happen till the summer. You might find that Darren Fletcher does this for a while, is a possibility. You might even give him a chance. like we saw with Solskjaer, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if they have a pretty good bounce, Manchester United. So Fernandes, like Bumo Diallo returning, that should be in your consciousness and your psyche. However, after Burnley, they play Manchester City and Arsenal. So let's come back and have a look, I think, in game week 24, rather than, I've got to get Fernandes back as soon as he's back available. Like, I don't think that's the right strategy or right play. And it might even mean that something defensively becomes more interesting. Who knows what if something like Martinez becomes interesting from a DEFCON perspective in the back four, maybe, for example. Got Maguire, De Ligt to come back. Maybe the new manager will come in and favour Kobe Mainu. Like, all these things could happen, right? Manchester United could look very different very, very quickly. So we should be aware of that. But yeah, Cunha-Ona's not going anywhere. I think those who are on, say, Dorgu, Dallo, chances are it still starts at Burnley, but then you need an awareness of afterwards and potentially what you want to do with it. I think Leeds would be disappointed. It's not to say that they should feel bad about drawing with United. I think it's double-sided in terms of the disappointment. One, because obviously they went in front. And Brandon Aronson, by the way, is playing really, really well for Leeds United at the moment. That's not making him a fantasy asset, by the way, but he's doing really well. If you did want a Leeds midfielder, it's Anton Staku at DEFCON again. And he's good. Aronson's 5.4. You're not going to pay that. But probably disappointment on reflection for Leeds that they obviously had a few absentees of their own. Right? Jayden Bogle, and I think particularly Ethan Ampadu. Big miss. And you know what the irony is on this, reflecting on the game? As soon as Xerxes come on the pitch, United started playing some really good stuff, Suj. I mean, the equaliser is a really good goal. It's beautifully worked. Couldn't you finish it well? And it doesn't matter.
What do you mean when you say it doesn't matter?
Well, the manager's changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying they were onto something, but yesterday when Xerxes, Cunha and Sesko were all together, their link was pretty good. They played some nice football in the last 20
minutes. And they
have
in a few games this season. What was it? The first 20 minutes a few games ago, or the first half, you were saying that's the best you've seen Manchester United play all season. Was it the Newcastle game where they played really well in the first half?
Starting at Bournemouth game.
Yeah,
was the particular one.
Yeah, so they've got it in them. They've definitely got the talent. But yeah, let's see if Darren Fletcher changes it up and is able to find some fluidity out of them. Excuse me, James.
We've all got the Christmas laggies.
Yeah. If you were to talk about manager of the season so far, you could argue the case with Unai Emery because Aston Villa after the first five have been amazing to keep in touch with the top two. But if it wasn't him, surely Keith Andrews. 7th in the table, Brentford, 4-2 winners away at Everton. They've done incredibly well.
Regis Libre. The two play each other this week, then they Brentford Sunderland. That's our Clash of Correspondents feature tomorrow.
Yeah, they're 8th. Yeah, I suppose, stick the two of them in there.
Well, the winner could be top 5, couldn't it? Surely, that's a possibility, isn't it?
They would leapfrog Chelsea. They would leapfrog Chelsea by 2 points.
They play at the same time. What I'm saying is the winner could be in 5th, technically.
Yeah. They'd leapfrog Manchester United and Chelsea. Yeah, I'll take Regis Labrie as that as well. I think there was, was there more expectation on Sunderland? Not sure, but I know the expectation on Brentford was low just because of the managerial change. Losing Bumo, lost Tony the year before. Lost the goalkeeper.
Okay, let's talk Brentford assets. Firstly, Sepp van den Berg, not back in the team. I'll ask Tom Med what he thinks on that tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if that changes back again for the game against Sunderland. I think that's a possibility. Played Aaron Hickey left back in this one. So that position keeps changing in terms of left back. Collins has returned really nicely here, goal and assist, right? That's a nice return, although I suspect many owners probably didn't play him. It does feel shocking in FPL now that you defend and get goal and assist is only 10 points. He wasn't in the DEFCON yesterday, was he? No, one short. 10 points from a goal and assist.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Thiago. So Thiago's obviously got a hat-trick. He's taken the goals really well. By the way, he could have had more. And this obviously comes after a run of 6 games without scoring.
Yep.
So now we can look at it and say 3 goals in 7, right?
Yep.
Or we can look at it and say it's 6 goals in 9. He's this year's Chris Wood, guys. Or actually 8 goals in 10. With Wood, every time last year I felt like I basically never owned him last year. I kept having a period with him where I was like, he's had a few blanks. And every time I was like, yeah, he's finished now. He came back again.
Comes back and, hits it again.
He is ideal second or third forward, depending on your structure. And there are fixtures coming up. As I said, there are some bad ones. So I was debating a move potentially in 22 of Thiago to João Pedro. Chelsea swing of fixtures. And I won't rule that out, by the way, in terms of managerial bounce. But also, by the way, reversing that back to Thiago in game week 28. So coming off and going back. But I do look at it with me and my squad structure and being able to rotate players and think, I probably should just leave that be. And no, I've got good value in him.
You use the word
seals that will have continued investment moving forward.
Yeah, you used the word about Declan Rice earlier in the show, and you described him as a glue pick. That's what I feel about Thiago now. And he will blank, but you've got to remember he's less than 7 million. He's 6.9. He's due a price rise this evening. I think he's a glue pick. Like, I'm very tempted to get it done this week just to avoid the price rise because I'm tight on budget. But I think it would be Ekitike that I would let go, not.
So when I'm comparing him to Chris Wood, and there are comparisons in terms of player, because I think both of those players need to be fed the service. Thiago's not going to get it on a halfway line. I know he did yesterday with a 1-on-1 chance. He's not going to start doing lollipops and beating people, same as like Chris Wood and stuff. Needs to be fed. If you feed the chances, and both those two teams, Forest last year and Brentford this year, have things in common in terms of delivering into the area specifically for him. If they create for him, he can take the chances. But also, I wasn't on Wood early last year, and I don't regret chasing him. He kept doing well, but I also had the fixtures were never really on my side to then go to him. So for you, Suj, truthfully, you don't own him. I would not be buying him.
Yeah, but what's the status on Ekitike?
But it still wouldn't be Thiago. Ekitike, by the way, we think he's probably going to be back in the squad Thursday. Is the early prognosis.
Yeah, it's for Arsenal. I would just say, Joe, like, yeah, you wouldn't. But once it's done, it's done. Like, my default to getting towards the most boring team, I'll just do it step by step and just get it done. And Thiago, if I was to put together the most boring team that I could, Thiago would be in it. So just get it done.
There's every chance that I will sell him in 22.
Yeah.
Don't them fixtures, mate. Sunderland, Chelsea, probably Forest with a different manager, possibly. Villa, Newcastle, Arsenal. Villa, Newcastle away. Chelsea away. Fixtures are shit. Why chase after that? What, because he's going to tick over? Fine, he'll tick over. He's probably not. I think he'd do all right.
Sunderland at home is all right. Forest at home, all right. Okay, Chelsea, Villa, Newcastle, difficult games. Away from home, Arsenal, difficult game. Brighton, I think he can do well. Burnley could do all right. Longer term, he's an all right asset. I think I'd still go there now. And also, you've got to look at what's the other alternatives at striker. What are the other alternatives at his price point for strikers?
Well, João Pedro might become one.
Wouldn't want to go there.
Sesko might become one.
Nah. None of these inspire me.
This is why a lot of people are looking at the one up front. My general advice would be that those on Thiago should consider and look at the possibility of possibly moving that on in game week 22. I may well hold. I have good value in him. That's probably what I'll end up doing. But honestly, truthfully, I would not go chasing him. He's just had a haul. The fixtures are not great. But do you want to view him like Chris Wood last year? As said, I never went there and it did keep slapping me. I am aware of that. I couldn't foresee things like Forest beating Brighton 7-0 and stuff like that. If I didn't own Thiago, I wouldn't be buying him.
What about Everton? Any assets there of interest?
No, not particularly. Obviously, there's a Wolves game this week, but then after that, it stiffens up to go to Villa in 22. So they've had this brilliant 4-game set of fixtures. They've been unfortunate in terms of the timing of injuries they've had has not been helpful. Both strikers have scored here, Barry and Beto. Beto as a substitute. You're not going to invest in either of those. A lot of people were asking about James Tarkowski on stream on Saturday morning. Not keen on that. Every chance he'll do well. He's hit DEFCON in this one, so it's still a 2-pointer despite conceding the 4 goals. I'm not paying 5.6 for that. They're not good enough, ultimately. Got too many key players missing, right? And Dyer, Dewsbury Hall, that might help things. But I don't think, and Sean said this every time he's been on COTC this season, James Tarkowski is not worth it at that money. He's fine as an asset. If he was 4.5, I'd be like, yeah, all over it. That's brilliant. Like Michael Keane is. Michael Keane was back at the weekend. That threat from Jared Branthwaite probably comes after Gameweek 21. So that would be the big message. If you're on Michael Keane, you need an awareness going into Gameweek 22. Because particularly if Everton did do badly against Wolves, you wouldn't be surprised if it changed. Otherwise, no interest in them. I think they have been unlucky that they've missed key personnel at a period where they had really good fixtures and the potential to move on, as in progress up the league. No, I no interest in Everton assets moving forward.
Newcastle 2, Crystal Palace 0. That's 5 without a win for Crystal Palace. And Lacroix is annoying me at the moment, James. Yeah. I'm not worried for them from the league point of view, but I'm worried from them from a fantasy point of view. I don't really want to own him, to be honest with you. I think what you've spoken about previously in fatigue, catching up with them is it. And yeah, just rather not own it. I'd rather own Malick Thiaw right now than Lacroix. I'd happily make the move across. But again, it doesn't really feel like a great move to be making.
No. I'll be looking at Lacroix and Gay and players like that in a few weeks' time, possibly Daniel Munoz, timing-wise as well. I look at their run 24 to 30, and it's really good. There's a problem where they might blank after that in 31, because they're scheduled to play Manchester City the weekend of the Carabao Cup final, right?
Yep.
If you lose that, you lose Palace, City, Arsenal assets altogether as a possibility. That could be problematic. But yeah, I'll be looking at Palace. If I owned at the moment, I'd probably be looking to hold on where possible. It's also worth saying they've got this extraordinary record against Villa. Like they always beat them. However, I suspect that might come to an end this time. With Villa's form, their confidence higher, and further problems for Palace picked up yesterday. So Jefferson Lerma went off. That was a concussion substitute. He's been covering at centre-back. Cambo come in for him, actually hit DEFCON. Despite being a substitute, he came on with 52 minutes to go and hit DEFCON Cambo. And Nathaniel Klein also picked up a problem yesterday as well. So there's a few issues beginning to build now. I'm not sorry, I don't want to be I told you so, but I really feel that way about Palace and the lack of rotation earlier in the season. And for them, and the way they are, having these games in quick succession is just not ideal. Yep. After this game, we get a bit of a break, can get a breather, and they'll set up better, I think, for games after this one. Wouldn't be at all surprised if Villa go to Selhurst and win this week, actually. So, no, definitely wouldn't be investing in Palace new. I think if you're a Mateta owner, you're a little bit concerned at the moment. The Palace asset to really keep an eye on in the next few weeks, genuinely, is Brennan Johnson. Straight into the team and started. What's the impact once Ismail Assar's back? Obviously needs a little bit of viewing. I do think there's a possibility on occasion that he might be used as a 9 to give Mateta more of a break. The other thing we need to be really conscious of with Palace is they've dropped to 14th.
Yep.
So I think go back to like a month or so ago and we'd have said, do you know what? They could finish top 5. And they still could because they're just at the bottom of like a really condensed kind of group of teams. But it feels unlikely now from this stage, and confidence obviously a lot lower. They're not going to go down. There's no chance of that. They may very well completely prioritise cups later in the season, and we need to have an awareness of that as well, so that when the Burnley Wolves games come around 26-27, does Glasner learn that if his priority is going to be the Conference League, could he rotate a little bit in the Premier League? That could be a possibility. Yeah, I'd have an awareness, despite what I'm saying, I'd have an awareness of selling Palace assets at the moment, particularly the Lacroix game. I'm sure they'll tick over okay, but they might have a difficult night this midweek. For Newcastle, the feedback to me was not great till scored again. little bit underwhelming. I think you watched the highlights last night. It feels like they probably could have run away with it in the end, and that's very much true. They got, importantly, some players back fit. So Livramento featured off the bench yesterday. Trippier's back. Botman's back. That's really important because Newcastle got a really condensed set of fixtures coming up. There'll be some changes to the team on Wednesday night. I'm very aware, not concerned about Malick Thiaw, but as a Gimres owner, wouldn't be a huge shock to me if he doesn't start against Leeds. I think he will, but it won't come as a shock to me as if he is left out. And it shouldn't come to a shock to you if Voltemade starts, because Eddie Howe said prior to the Burnley game, Johan Visser is not ready to start many games in succession. Well, he's just started two, and you've got a 3-day turnaround. So I would assume that Voltemade starts against Leeds. And I know a few people will still be on that. And Newcastle will also appeal because if you look across the next two fixtures, you are seeing a Leeds team, which I think Daniel Farke said himself was tired yesterday. Think of Leeds going into this game at Newcastle. Liverpool Thursday, Manchester United Sunday, Newcastle away Wednesday. Like, not ideal. So I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle won quite comfortably on Wednesday. If you're on free hit, Voltemade be going straight in. I'd take the chance on that. Not that I recommend anyone on free hits, by the way. Jacob Murphy might have had a problem when he came off as well, which might be good news for Anthony Gordon owners because there was every chance it was going to be his turn, I think, for rotation. I said prior to Burnley, expect Gordon, Barnes, Murphy to all start 2 out of 3. If Murphy's got a problem, Gordon will almost definitely start again. Despite the fact they've got Leeds Wolves in the next 2, though, it's very difficult to look now and know who will play the Wolves fixture in Gameweek 22 because they've got Leeds Wednesday, Bournemouth FA Cup Saturday, the big game against Manchester City, League Cup semi-final first leg at St James's on the Tuesday. Then they play Wolves. And of course, what's straight after that? Champions League, home to PSV. Right. Must-win game as well. So to know who definitely plays at Wolves in 22, not great. The spacing is okay on it. That's something I would say about that game against Wolves. So they play Manchester City, as said, on Tuesday. And then the Wolves game is on the Sunday, and then PSV's on the Wednesday. Then they don't play Villa till the next Sunday. So for me, the Tuesday to Wednesday gap would be weird if, say, Gimres, for example, didn't start at Wolves, probably Gordon. But I do think those two could potentially be rotated this week. So actually, in most cases, despite what I'm saying, I think Newcastle's probably a leave. Personally, I mean, if you went something for the 2 weeks, you're gambling heavy on the starts, and I can't guarantee that they're there. That said, Chow is a very decent option. Chow is particularly a really good option. I've said this a few times recently. If you have like Alderete or Mukiele sitting in your team, because actually, as a rotation, Newcastle and Sunderland with their home records works very, very nicely. Actually, so I'm on Chow and Alderete. That probably gets left for a while for me. Yep. One of the conscious is a really good example, something to think about. So Nico Riley's a potential chopping block for me, maybe Gameweek 22. But if suddenly Newcastle beat Man City 3-0 in the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg, I've got to think further down the line. Right, I'm possibly going to lose Chow,
Nico Riley, yep.
Chow, Alderete, Gabriel and Timber for Gameweek 31. If the Carabao Cup final was Arsenal-Newcastle, the only one I got left is O'Reilly. So then by default, he might sit in. These little things are a good reason where on decisions like this, you're better off taking the information for a week or so. So Malick Thiaw as a centre-back is fine. He's going to get investment. I mean, hit the DEFCON as well. Great. And he wasn't just in the DEFCON. He's hit a big total as well. I don't know if there's any coincidence that they've had a few better results with Joe Linton back in the team, because actually he had been underwhelming, but he's been back in the team for the last couple. Gimres, by the way, is such a good asset.
Yep.
When Gimres scores, you fit in your head, you're counting the points. And I don't just mean you're counting the 5 points for the goal. You're counting what's the bonus points here. If you look at Gimres' returns this season, so Gimres has had, I'm just checking through, 6 double-digit returns.
Yeah, monster.
He's on 106 points from 20 games, so he's trending towards hitting 200 points across the season. And it's worth acknowledging, big overperformance, right? 11 attacking returns from an XGI of sort of towards 5.5. It's basically double, right? So it might regress. But when he returns good. 10 points against Palace, 10 points at Burnley, 10 points at home to Burnley, 7 points against Tottenham when he scored. Remember, that was as a substitute. 10 points against Man City, 10 points against Fulham, 14 against Forest. When he returns, it tends to be big. So you're going to have, if you go for someone like that, you're going to have 2-2-2, and you're going to go, oh, this is shit, innit? Guess what happens when you sell? Bang.
Yep.
I would say, me as an owner on Gimrez, I'm obviously really happy to have him at the moment. And also for me, despite the fact there are good fixtures on the horizon, I'll be looking at around about game week 24 and potentially looking to move on. Because those fixtures from there get tougher.
Okay. Tottenham 1, Sunderland 1. James, you were at the game. Looks like you were all right-ish in the first half. They were better in the second, but overall, meh.
Yeah, fair result. No arguments on that. I thought Sunderland were poor, really, for an hour or so. We were, let's say, better than them for that period, is where I want to go with that. But credit to them, Regis Liberty changed a few things in terms of system. They basically played 4-4-2 with like Trey Hume right-hand side of midfield. It got much better for them once Ballard came on. And also once he moved Gertrude from right back into midfield, everything became much better for them. And when they equalised, I was quite happy to go home, because if there was going to be a winner, they were the more likely, because the game would turn. Why did the game turn? Well, because Tottenham can't keep possession properly. That's down to inconsistencies and quality of players, but also more down to the caretaker, who is.
But he's not the one on the pitch passing the ball to each other.
No, he's not, and there are errors. But it's he has a responsibility for the fact that they actually played front-footed and quite aggressive in the first half, and I'm going to say dominated the game wouldn't be correct, but we're a better side. We deserve to go in front at half time. Then you change. You're a team as well, Sunderland. Don't go deep against them and like allow for, we can bring Ballard up for set piece and start playing diagonals. That Brobby is a handful, man. He's a unit. It reminds a little bit like you put it into a player like Heskey and just pin people, right? And at times it might look a bit awkward, but he's physical. Can he hold people off? Don't go deep. Get yourself up 40 yards from goal, mate. He's not going to be a problem for you in behind.
Yeah.
Stop all that. So, yes, the manager is part responsible. I also think they have a psyche. Tottenham, I spoke about this on Patreon last week, that because of how they won the Europa League, that it is a natural instinct to go deeper as well. I do understand that. But yeah, Sunderland deserve credit for the way they got themselves back in the game. I think it was probably even helpful for us that Sunderland obviously had that game with City last Thursday, so it was probably an element of fatigue. Same team, basically. They weren't great, but I mean, this sums up Tottenham. You got Sunderland rocking up at White Hart Lane. Sunderland weren't good. And I'm still walking out at the end of going, Sunderland well deserved a point.
Yeah, fair play. I know there's no real Spurs assets that are of interest at the moment, particularly with Kudus is obviously injured now as well. I know his name was mentioned
let me
a
tell
little
you,
bit at the back end of last week.
If I can jump in, for those who've gone Mohamed Kudus, him getting injured has done you a favour. I don't know why. I do know why, because it was recommended quite a lot. It's an analytical thing, right? But surely the analytical thing is, can you look at this guy who never has a shot on goal? Why have you gone there?
Yeah.
Him getting injured's done you a favour.
Eye test versus stats. This is one that, I would trust your opinion on.
Don't understand that at all.
From a Sunderland point of view?
The only Tottenham asset that would be remotely interesting offensively is Richarlison. And Kudus' injury does make him more likely to start at Bournemouth. You're definitely not going there. But I know as well, after the Bournemouth game, I'm going to get asked again, West Ham at home, Burnley away. And, but it's good. Okay, it might be good for the defensive guys. But I said this, you're going to get to game week 24, and whatever you've invested in Tottenham, you're going to want to sell again anyway. So what's the point?
Yep. Sunderland, Xhaka's obviously still a good shout. He's picked up another DEFCON. Mukiele, Alderete are the other two that are probably the most popular in terms of defensive assets, all still okay. Dan Ballard, still worth the extra? Nah.
Not at the moment. I'd be cautious of that. Because I think Mukele's done quite well at centre-back. And I know it was better when Gertrude went into midfield, but consider you got people like Diarra away at AFCON at the moment. You've also got Reynaldo who's going to come back. Reynaldo would be really interesting one when he's back. I think they lost, didn't they, Mozambique at the weekend. I don't think he'll play this midweek at Brentford. We'll see what Spencer says on COTC, but he'll definitely be back for game week 22 and he'll come back in the team. So Reynaldo at 3.8, great. He'll chip in with the odd occasional DEFCON as well. Then you've got Alderete 4.1. Michele, I think, is still 4.2. 4.3 now. All of them are reasonable. But it's a case to say just go to the cheapest one. It's not improbable for me that I end up adding Reynaldo and going with double Sunderland. Just go, I'll have Alderete and Reynaldo on the bench every week. And like when Chow's got a shit fixture, I'll go, well, play one of these two guys. Yep. Fine. So, yeah, Reynaldo is not a buy this week. He might be the one afterwards. I think at this stage I would go for Alderete rather than Michele, just because he's a little bit cheaper. Xhaka is fine. Brobby wants monitoring. I know that's his first goal since game week 13. He's 5.5. His minutes are on the increase, right? So he's now started the last 5 in a row. He has regularly been getting taken off around about kind of the hour mark. 90 minutes yesterday, Wilson Isidore was unavailable. Hopefully Isidore will be back for midweek. But this fella is an absolute handful. And he is a stylistically very good fit, I think, for this football team at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if we hit a period where he becomes interesting. And they themselves have that West Ham and Burnley fixtures back-to-back 23-24. So you talk, but where to go from Thiago 22? You don't like it, right? Well, Brobby might be playing Palace at home, West Ham away, Burnley at home. And right now, it's just one goal against Tottenham. Yeah, if he scores again Wednesday night, he'll come onto people's radar.
Okay, let's talk about Fulham 2, Liverpool 2. This weekend feels like a lot of sums up the season type things where you're saying Sunderland rocking up to Spurs and you're happy to get away with a draw, or West Ham going to a Wolves team that haven't won all season and losing 3-0. Well, this is another example where at the death, like Harrison Reed clawing back that lead and Liverpool shitting the bed again. Yeah.
Great goal, wasn't it? Let's be fair.
Fantastic goal. Yes. How is David Hunter, by the way?
Don't know. He had a very good FPL game week. He just doesn't know Malick Thiaw, which he's not happy about. Same old, isn't it, for Liverpool? It doesn't surprise.
No, this is what I'm saying. Is just again and again. Like if you look at the flow of the game, they had 56% possession, racked up 3 big chances, but not a huge XG. It was like flattering to deceive again a little bit.
They're and I've not watched a lot of game yesterday, but all the messaging back is it's still slow. It's kind of one pace. They're really struggling for tempo. They rock up at the Emirates like that, they get slaughtered on Thursday.
I think
there's every chance
could be
by the way.
Could be a big win for Arsenal if Arsenal smell blood. They need to get revenge for the away loss earlier in the season.
That fixture should now, for those who still want to say Van Dijk and stuff, should now provide you the excuse to go away. Yep. With Ekiteke, me looking at it and benching it and going, it's Burnley at home afterwards. He's fine, and I think very, very different. It's different for a couple of reasons. One is there's value built in Ekiteke, and ultimately I'm still looking at Liverpool's number 9, who should be pretty good for minutes moving forward, and obviously he hasn't been here. On him, it seems like a minor hamstring problem, but they've done a scan and they weren't happy with it. So he did travel. He was going to be a sub. They've done the scan and gone, no, we don't take a risk, which is right. He could easily be involved on Thursday. He's also potentially, by the way, it will change quickly. He could be captain in 22. You've now got Haaland going to Manchester United with potentially a change of manager, and Ekiteke's got Burnley at home. We're talking of weeks to potentially take Haaland on. That might be one. So with that in mind, I wouldn't be binning Ekiteke at this moment. With Van Dijk, holding on to him just to see their shit goal conceded when they beat Burnley 3-1 in 22, he's not going to be worth it at all. That is a clear bin now. I don't look capable of keeping a clean sheet against anybody. And do you know what? If they pick up some stuff, they come back in some really good fixtures around about game week 27, go back to it then. That's a clear bin in terms of Virgil van Dijk. The only Liverpool asset that's remotely interested, in my opinion, at this moment is Ekiteke. And that includes, slightly different, I know Wirtz has got a couple recently. I'd be keen to be looking at moving that on as well, personally. Goal looks offside. I think most people think that goal looks offside. He's played a more central role, which is helpful to him. And with him, a little bit like what I said with Gimrez, because of how he is stylistically as a player, if he scores, he is going to be in and around the bonus. But I haven't seen anything recently that's made me think, oh, I need to really monitor that. Now, people want to hold it for the Burnley game because they think if I said to a Verts owner now, it'd be a 2-pointer at Arsenal, but another 10 against Burnley, they'd probably hold, wouldn't they? I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
yeah.
a possibility. But I think you should have an awareness that it might not be quite right. For Fulham, change the system yesterday to back three. Issa Diop, one of your old favourites, Suj came into the team. Castagne and Robinson played as wing backs. That meant more central role for Harry Wilson, who played as a right 10. You see the position where he scored, his left 10 position, actually. So if Fulham and change system, they probably don't end up scoring that goal. He'd also hit the bar in the second half as well. Their fixtures, I think, stiffen up. I've seen a few people talking about going back to him in game week 22. Leeds away, Brighton at home, Man United away, Everton at home, City away, Sunderland away. Doesn't scream to me personally.
No, but he's consistent at the price, So again, you can
He
hide
is.
it in some weeks and you can play it in others.
But it's not buying at 5.2 now, is it? It's buying at 5.8.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be running to that.
Still cheap though.
Holding's absolutely fine. And I think similar. Raul Jimenez. Well, Raul Jimenez minutes are good. He'll tick over. But what's really interesting with him is unlike players we've spoken about in terms of picking up bonus points this season, like for Raul Jimenez, it's proper rough on the bonus, This season he's got 5 bonus points.
Yeah, not good.
That's despite the fact he's got 8 attacking returns, 4 goals, 4 assists. He keeps getting butts when he scores. Talking of which, Cody Gakpo. Richarlison sees you, by the way, you idiot. Because I always get dug up by Liverpool fans when Richarlison takes his shirt off and then only to concede a late leveller. Right, well, same's happened to you. We saw you. We've seen it. Don't do it. Don't.
At least his goal counted, though.
That's also true and also helpful. But don't do that. You need to be last kick of the game to be doing that. Don't take your shirt off anyway. It's just it's not necessary,
stop doing it,
guys.
Stop doing it.
Fulham on a good little decent run.
Am I right? Just on goal celebrations, James. Now knee slides are banned now, right? Knee slides is now a yellow card offence.
Did you see even Mateus Mane? Did you see his interview after? I don't know. You probably haven't watched any of it back.
Nah.
His interview, he said, he scored the goal, and he said, nice knee slide too. I was like, go on, lad. You can tell he's had that innocence. And he was like, I didn't know what to say. Nice knee slide too. Go on, lad. Well done.
Yeah.
No, they're not banned, mate.
Oh, did I read something wrong then?
Are you taking the piss?
I'm sure I saw something where people were saying knee slides are banned because of risk of injury. Maybe I shouldn't have read what I saw on X.
Guys, 100% everything on X, you need to double check your sources.
Okay,
right?
I will check my sources.
AI shit and nonsense going around. Please always double check sources. How are you going to ban knee slides?
No, as in the risk of injury from the celebration. But then I did think when I'd read it, I've never heard anyone get injured from doing a knee slide.
Someone could take their shirt off and fall over arse over tip while they're putting their shirt over their face. Mind you, that is a yellow card, isn't it?
Probability of
no one's banned knee slides.
Right. Okay. Man City 1, Chelsea 1. They're probably not Chelsea anymore these days, are they? Because Abramovich has been gone a long time. Late equaliser for Chelsea. Game thrown away by Manchester City. I've heard Pep said that both Diaz and Guardiola injured, which is not good for them. I'm sure they've got some.
It's not.
Yeah, Kuzanov, Aki, potentially, but not good.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed with this from the Tottenham perspective. As both my teams drew 1-1 at home yesterday, conceding late levellers. It's not good. What's ironic about that as well is kind of in the last 15 minutes of the first half, I thought this is the most in control I've seen City for a really long time. Like looking at them thinking, you've got this. You've got Doku to add back to this. You've got Semenyo presumably soon to add to this. You look strong. You look in control. Rodri playing helps to that massively. However, they have a repetitive problem, Manchester City. If they don't finish teams off, they get deeper and deeper. They never used to, but they do now. And I think a lot of it is offensive strategy, by the way. Draw teams onto you more, quick transitions towards Haaland. City fluffed a few good kind of transition moments where they had like 3v4s and stuff like that on the counter later in the game. But they are happy to give up control. They never used to be. They never used to be. And I don't like it because actually in the past, I give up one moment and the opposition would score. But now it feels more and more like Donnarumma might save them when that one moment comes around. City, for me, are much better still staying high. It might not open up the best avenues for Haaland later in games, but I still think control is the best way for them. Chelsea deserve credit. There was things that is McFarlane who took charge. He's done really well yesterday. Really pleased with him. The innocence look on his face when they equalise is great. Fair dues. And he changed bits tactically, moving Gusto from left back to right later in the game. Freed up Enzo Fernandez positionally in second half. He's another one, by the way, like Guimaraes and stuff. Feels like when he scores, he'll be in and around the bonus, performing really well. Historically, players like Enzo Fernandez, Guimaraes, Declan Rice just never would have looked at FPL.
Yep.
You could have that as a midfield three for the rest of the season. It will tick you over absolutely fine. But yeah, disappointment with City. And that, as you said, Vardiel Diaz is a blow. And I think the equaliser is also caused about by the injuries, not necessarily them being not on the pitch, but I'm fairly certain Nico Riley was going to get taken off. He was shattered. And Johnny Pringwood warned, I covered his tweet on Friday's podcast. Johnny saying he looks really fatigued. Part way he'd come off against Sunderland. He looks absolutely shattered again in this one. However, he's probably going to have to play against Brighton now because I presume that no Vardiel and Diaz.
Yeah. So Aki's going to come in. Kuzanov's going to come in.
I would guess
Nunes
so.
will play. Mateus Nunes is on for a price rise tonight.
That's not surprising in any way, Serge. Not surprising at all.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know. I wouldn't be looking at them at all. So many of us have got 3 City and Foden, Haaland, and O'Reilly.
I wouldn't be buying any City defensive. I still think if you want to invest defensively, I mean, if you look at City's home games up till the possible blank of 31, Brighton, Wolves, Fulham, Newcastle, Nottingham Forest as the 5 home games between now and 31. Like, just in them games, there's some potential hauls in there. So if you want to go for Cherky and stuff like that, I think that's absolutely fine. I probably wouldn't at the moment because I would want an awareness of what's happening with Doku's return and obviously the potential impact of Semenyo. Definitely wouldn't buy defensively at this moment. So if you were thinking Nunes, I'd really park that at the moment. It'll come back around again if you want to come back to it. Probably around about Gameweek 26 maybe.
Yep.
I suppose if you were going to buy new now, Cherky's valuation is okay where you could consider it. I wouldn't be jumping Foden to Cherky. I very much felt watching the game yesterday that at any point Foden or Haaland could do something for me. So no concerns on them. Cherky is particularly appealing in the sense he's hit DEFCON in the last couple as well. But there might be an impact to what happens next. They played Rangers off the left yesterday. And they have this really unique setup at the moment where Cherky's like playing off the right. But as soon as they get in possession, Bernardo Silva moves to the right and Cherky goes into central zones. And then Reinders is obviously off the flank from the left-hand side, is the one who can really run in behind. Doku's coming back in here somewhere. And ultimately, Reinders is 3 goals in 4?
Yep.
So does Pep give him a little run? I mean, Reinders, ironically, now, 5.2.
Don't say
it. 3 goals in 4. But no, I wouldn't go there at the moment. There's too much potential competition for places. So I think with City, it will become a little bit clearer maybe by the time they play Wolves in Gameweek 23. I wouldn't be adding now. I'd be waiting. I don't think there'll be enough gain in anything you go to. I'll still be captain Haaland this week. For Chelsea.
Yeah, me as well. Chelsea time?
Liam Rosenior, we think, has flown in. And he's obviously going to be appointed. I don't know if that's going to be in time for the Fulham game Wednesday night, but he's going to be appointed manager. That seems fairly clear. I've only looked at little bits, but you can expect Chelsea to be very man-to-man orientated and aggressive off the ball. There'll be pros and cons of that. What we can't know yet is what the impact, I think, particularly someone like Enzo Fernandez. You can look at someone like Neto and know he's going to play as a winger, right? I don't know what the impact of Enzo Fernandez is if he ends up sitting like with a double pivot with Casado, or with someone that they push higher. Maybe Palmer picks up more of a half space and wider role. These are things that I'd want to see first before investing. And you will get the chance, right? Don't steam in now. You got the Fulham game. It's an FA Cup game at the weekend. And very importantly, I'm sure they'll pick a strong team against Arsenal in the League Cup semi-first leg. Because that's going to be Rosenior's first home game. So he's going to want to make an impression on the crowd, right? That will give us a clearer indication of what's going to happen afterwards. Chelsea are at Charlton, in the FA Cup this weekend. So that's his first home game. I'd take the information of those 3 games, then let's look at Chelsea again in Gameweek 22, because that's obviously a brilliant run. Chalobah will be on radar for me. Enzo Fernandez will be on radar. João Pedro will be on radar. Robert Sanchez would be the goalkeeper I'd go to if I had a goalkeeper problem, even though obviously he's not played yesterday. And obviously Cole Palmer needs a little bit of monitoring. But my personal view on this at the moment, a little bit like Saka versus Rice, I don't think Palmer will be worth the extra on Enzo Fernandez. And also with Cole Palmer, we've got to look a little bit beyond the fixtures being brilliant and understanding that I don't think the scoring problem is cured, and therefore he may miss some of these best fixtures.
Okay. Yeah, definitely looking at Enzo over Cole Palmer for me. I don't want to tie up that much money in it. Cool, James. That's a wrap on the games.
James, by the way, outstanding again. Yeah, he's been playing so well over the last couple of months, Reece James.
Yep. Good. James, you want to come cover off some of the questions that we've had in on online?
Yeah, we can.
There's quite a few. Obviously, just jumping in there to congratulate you on your fantastic game week and asking you what the voodoo magic is. I'll let you reply to them individually if you want to.
Can I tell you what the voodoo magic is, by the way?
Yeah.
I've had to watch 5 months of Thomas Frank football. I deserve this. Okay,
fair play. FPL Cheeseman, would you sell
So you not want to jump in and say, what about me? Or
I'm just putting it out of my mind. The football doesn't exist. West Ham are not even a real team at the moment. FPL Cheeseman wants to know if you'd go Florian Wirtz to Declan Rice.
Me personally, yeah, all day long.
Yeah, just get it done.
But also, again, if you've only got one free transfer, there's a case to say, because of Wirtz playing then Burnley 22, like, do you wait? Is the information more important to you? I.e., like, could Wirtz, go on a bit of a run now? As long as you've got more than one free transfer, I'd say, yeah. If it's one, I do think for so many people, Rolling will be the right play for many this week.
Yep. A question coming in from Mr. Tractor, FPL Tractor. What's the latest with the snow, James? Any games at risk of being postponed, do you think, this week? I'm obviously in Portugal. I don't know how bad it is. Is it bad? All these pictures under soil heating and all that kind of stuff. But obviously it's the safety for the fans getting in and out as well. You've got a cold, snowy trip to Burnley lined up?
Soon. In January. I presume the question was labelled for this midweek specifically.
It is. I was just referencing Burnley because it's your favourite.
So the one that's probably normally the most dangerous one in terms of downpours of like heavy snow and stuff is like the northwest. So if you looked at, say, this week's fixtures, they get it worse, because it crosses like the Pennines before you then hit, say, northeast of Newcastle, Sunderland and stuff. So if you look at the northwest, I'm just looking at temperatures predicted for Wednesday night. In the Liverpool region, Everton play Wolves, 5-6 degrees. You're not going to have any problems this game.
No.
Unfortunately, because I probably could quite do with Bournemouth being postponed on Wednesday and play the game in about 3 months' time would probably be ideal for me. But I'm not going to get that lucky.
FPL Cortado wants to know if you'd include Bruno Fernandes on wildcard right now or stick with Cunha.
If I was wildcarding at this moment, arguably neither. Essentially, it's Cunha v Burnley, and then do you want to move it on with no knowledge of what's happening next? Might be a good play just to come off at this point if you're on wildcard. I would definitely be wanting to leave the door open for Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. I want to leave that door open, but I wouldn't put him straight in. You don't even know if he's going to start, and then it's City, Arsenal. So,
wait and see.
I think come back, Gameweek 24.
Yeah, just a few suggestions for pod title: East Beast 17 rather than East 17.
That's good.
Someone's holding a DVD called 17 Again. I think it's a movie. Is it?
17 again. 17 again. Ole, ole. 17 again. Ole, ole. Yeah. I've got 3 17-pointers, didn't I?
Yeah, I know, but I don't think that's what he was implying. I think he was implying the movie. We'll let James Nelson have the last question of the show. He says, is it time to get off Philip Foden? What's your thoughts on Foden? It's big money, Foden, 8.9, 8.6 I've got him for, but his current price is 8.9.
I mean, I would consider selling him to Bruno Fernandes in game week 24 if City weren't playing Tottenham that game week.
Yeah.
My thought process on Foden at the moment, I think the value you bought at is relevant, right? Particularly those who've gotten at, say, like 8 or 8.1 are really going to want to hold at the moment. I got an at 8.4. I look at City fixtures in the longer term and think, truthfully, bar probably playing at Liverpool and now the Manchester United fixture at Old Trafford, I think does become more awkward because of the managerial change. Other than that, fixture's pretty good. You'd want to be on radar in terms of what happens next with Semenyo, Doku, etc. But as said, he was essentially, him and Haaland were the only two players in my FPL team who blanked yesterday, and I didn't look at either and think, oh, it couldn't just happen here at any moment. So I'd be quite content to keep Phil Foden. I definitely wouldn't be selling this week. I'd be very confident he'll play again against Brighton.
Cool. And it's a home fixture. And you know what we say about home fixtures for City, don't back against the big man, and they always do well at the Etihad. Good. All right, James, we'll wrap this episode because it's a tight turnaround for people to listen before the game week 21 deadline. I hope you have a great game week 21. Quick turnaround, and then we'll have a little bit of breathing room. We'll review it on Friday. So make sure wherever you're listening to the audio, you are subscribed. If you're on YouTube, hit the notification bell as well. You'll get notified as soon as all of our content goes live. Most importantly, stay safe, look after yourselves, keep the faith. Ciao for now.
Thanks, everyone. Be nice to each other. Remember, always play it your way. Cue music, please. Man, chunk.